So now that we're talking about growth and how do you get started as a creator in this journey, I recently chanced upon one of your tweets where you spoke about this controversial take again, which is like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Being sort of a very depressing question, right? And it's a definitely contrarian thinking, I would say, and I agree a lot with that because there are times that when I have raised this question with people saying, "Oh my God, I don't think that's like the right question," though it gets asked in a lot of interviews, gets asked in literally any peer circle that you professionally work with, like seeing yourself in the next couple of years. So, what's your take on how people, especially creative people who work on some innovative ideas, should look at signs of growth? If not, for where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I think it's more important to conduct a lot of shorter term experiments than to have the to maintain the illusion of control by creating this 5-year plan that is never going to come to fruition. And if it did come to fruition, again, would be quite depressing. If you knew exactly where you're going to end up in 5 years,
Mm,
what's the point then? You already know where you're going. Nobody would play video games if they knew exactly step by step what they had to do to win the game. What makes it fun is that you don't know and that you have to discover that path for yourself while playing the game. So instead of creating those plans and having those 5-year type of strategies and visions that we have and that we tell recruiters that where we of course we know exactly where where we want to go. I think it's a lot more not only practical but also better in terms of personal growth to just keep on experimenting. And so what I would tell people is just to try something new, commit to it for long enough that you can see results. And depending on the project, sometimes a couple of weeks is enough. Sometimes you need 3 months. For me, for writing online, I did a first 3-month experiment, 100 days. But basically, just design an experiment,
mm,
decide on the number of trials, go through it, and then decide if you like it, if you want to ramp it up, if you want to just stop doing it, if you want to tweak it. A little bit like a scientist designs experiments and runs them, and then decides what to do next to maybe answer more questions, or maybe realizing that it's a dead end and that you need to go back to the
mm.
protocol and start from scratch. So a little bit like a scientist, just asking those questions, designing experiments and learning from them. Because if you do this, as long as you learn something from the experiment, there's no failure.
Mm.
Growth is just learning. Growth is knowing more about yourself and the world today than you did yesterday. And again, going back to that question of where do you see yourself in 5 years? If you were able to perfectly predict where you are in 5 years, it means that you haven't really grown because it means that you're relying on your present day imagination to know where you're going in 5 years. You
Mhm.
want to be able to look back and feel like, wow, I could have not imagined that. That's where you want to go.